I would argue that every great player in the history of cricket has played at this ground, and they've been overseen by those gas holders. So if those gas holders could talk, they've seen everything.
We're standing right here in what is one of the most historic and prestigious venues in world cricket. A ground that is steeped in history, a ground that has many stories to tell. And in this RCB exclusive, we're going to try to do exactly that, uncover and unravel some of the most interesting stories that the Kia Oval has to offer. Sean's been kind enough to host us and give us a little sneak peek into probably one of the most historic grounds here in England, the majestic Kia Oval. Let's go take a look.
Maybe we can go and sit in the stand and talk about it. Is the history here we have of other sports.
Yeah.
So the first ever FA Cup final was played here in 1872.
Wow.
The England team played their first ever home match here, England football team. The England rugby team played their first ever home match here.
But it doesn't happen anymore, does it?
No, not anymore. No. We've also had NFL teams training here. So the Kia Oval was founded in 1845. There were cricketers playing for a club called Montpellier Cricket Club, who were playing in a different part of South London, were forced to leave their ground because they were going to build houses there. They didn't want to give up their club, so they approached the Duchy of Cornwall, which is the company that is run to look after the interests of the Prince of Wales. They owned a market garden in Kennington, which specialised in cabbages, and that market garden was not going through the greatest of times, and they said, look, would you consider converting this to a cricket pitch so we can continue to play cricket? And it was agreed with the then Prince of Wales that's what would happen. And they brought over 10,000 rolls of turf from a place called Tooting Common, which is another common just down the road in London. And that turf was rolled out, and the Oval was born, and cricket has never looked back. I say the Oval was born. Actually, the records show that the Duchy of Cornwall weren't convinced that cricket was going to work on this site. So it took them 2 years to allow the cricketers to cut the trees down. So for 2 years, initially they played cricket around they played cricket here around the trees. But our landlord remains to this day the Prince of Wales, and we're very, very proud to be a part of the Duchy of Cornwall. This is the Bedser stand over here, named after Alec Bedser. It was built in the 1990s, opened by the Queen. Dressing rooms, players' area over here, and then offices and corporate boxes around the rest of the stand. In fact, Wisden are based up in that top corner. That's where the Wisden Cricket Monthly is based. Yeah, it's pretty amazing standing out here in the middle. I love these gas holders here. Yeah. It's a cylindrical iron frame, and inside there was a container, and basically it rose up and down. It's literally was used to store gas. They were built in 1852, so the ground was built in 1845. The gas holders were built in 1852. So I would argue that every great player in the history of cricket has played at this ground, and they've been overseen by those gas holders. So if those gas holders could talk, they've seen everything. Behind us, this is the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion. This was built in the 1890s. It's the oldest stand in the ground, and it's where our members watch the games from. It's full of little areas. You have the committee room there, where our president watches the game from, and members of our committee. And you have the members' restaurant in the middle there, and lots of little bars around the place for the members, and the long room there, and our museums in there. It's a really amazing.
Tell us about who are some of the biggest personalities that you'll have had in this ground watching cricket over the years?
Yeah, well, just recently during the World Cup, we had Sir Mick Jagger and Charlie Watts came in for a game from the Rolling Stones. They're big fans. We see them quite a lot. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, is a big cricket fan. Sadiq Khan actually played for us. The Mayor of London played for Surrey until he was 15, and then he was let go when he was 15. They didn't think he was quite good enough to make it at professional level. I think he still thinks he was. Prince Harry was here opening the first game of the World Cup, and Theresa May, a massive cricket fan, is Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. So he comes here. He comes here quite a lot. A lot of English politicians, really big fan of cricket. Boris Johnson, he came, who may end up being the next Prime Minister of England. Frank Lampard, big cricket fan. Mark Schwarzer, former Australian Chelsea goalkeeper. There's a guy called Salman Khan who keeps on trying to come. Away from cricket, we have a conference and events business at the ground. We have over 2,000 events a year that happen here that have nothing to do with cricket at all. The OCS stand has really transformed the way we operate as a club. We turn over about £6 million worth of sales in that stand, all of which can go towards helping the team, helping the ground, helping us just maintain the Oval as one of the great grounds in world cricket.